Well, we're blasting our way.
That actually hit me in the fucking face.
Just be better. That's a skill issue on your part.
That was a good shot.
That was a damn
That
good
was
shot.
excellent.
You know what?
That was excellent.
He's like,
he was just collateral damage. So
He
it was
like-
a great shot.
I'm
I got
sorry.
some ricochet damage. Jeez.
Get some collab on you.
That was like a grim bee with the bounce. The bees.
The bees knees.
Bees.
Tell you who the bees knees were saved with an unbelievable performance in his previous matchup. Shout out to Dirty as well. Only his second Pro League match and managed to put up some pretty ridiculous numbers. And Circular Spheres were shit. So let's move on to our final matchup of the night. Panic take on 6Targets. That's right. We've got really the newest roster joining. We're saying the newest roster. It's just like the youngest roster in terms of experience versus almost one of the oldest rosters that we've got, Dev.
It's funny, yeah, they are kind of contrasted like that. But also, the 6 teams that have played already tonight, they all in one iteration or another played last year in Blast Star 6, and neither of these teams did. So these are actually the 2 newest teams into the league, and that's, just a straight fact. Obviously, we do have a lot of veterans on 6T from the old Order days, and some of them even played last year for various teams. Panic, though, an interesting team to me just because there's so much young talent. A couple of them have had their appearances in the OCE League in the past. But yeah, I think we haven't seen enough from either of these teams to really have a solid idea. Both of them lost yesterday. For one of them, their loss streak is about to change.
Hopefully.
Well, they have to. One
Nah.
of them has to win. So one of their loss streaks has to change. That's how it works,
Look,
Rob.
if they go to overtime, are any of them winners? They don't get 3 points.
Technically, by definition, they are still winning the game. Yes.
Technically, if you think about the way wins and losses are calculated,
It is a binary state.
it's either 1 or it's 0. Well, unfortunately, I think that this is going to be I actually do worry a little bit for 6Targets here because, Mandy, we've talked about them in the past. We absolutely love the roster. We love the org. We love everything about this. You've got 2 sets of brothers. It's they're twins, basically. You don't actually have brothers. I just want to clarify that.
Yeah,
please.
that's kind of confusing because the whole Bliss actually does have 2 brothers on them.
Viewers at home, they are not brothers.
You're making a joke about how Bailey and Kakin look similar?
Yeah.
That's so funny.
And who else?
Tex and Specker?
Wow, he caught on.
I really don't think Tex and Specker look
So
similar
proud of
except for
him.
the fact that they're both don't have much hair.
Well, I think that kind of makes them twins, honestly. Pretty much, me and Xenox may as well be twins at this
Yeah,
point.
it
Give me a
is,
pair of
right?
glasses and, you know what, cut me off at the knees and then we're perfect twins. But this roster, Mandy, we did come into this league with such high hopes, such love in our heart for what we used to know. But yesterday, they didn't get off to the most fantastic start. They lost 7-4 to Odium, which, to be fair, looks like maybe probably a top 2, top 3 contender.
Yeah, certainly. I've still got faith for this 6Targets team. I think they're going to take a little while to warm up into it, to relearn the game in the right way. As I understand it, Tex is the primary leading figure when it comes to the technical aspect of the game as well. So I'm looking forward to how they've interpreted the game over the last couple weeks, couple months, trying to relearn it. And honestly, I think first play day, let them give it a chance and warm into the league.
I think, is it fair to say that, Dev, given the just experience, the knowledge, almost the uniqueness of this team from the individuals, do you think that if they were able to get together, they could contend against Bliss?
Maybe.
I like throwing ifs and buts.
Yeah, I don't know. It's if maybe, in another parallel universe, if they were better and all,
and not them,
and not quite,
and all Brendos,
and maybe Bliss weren't quite as good, then maybe, totally. I reckon these guys could go and win the next major.
Yeah,
if
yeah.
So,
if you swapped them out with Brendo Bliss.
Honestly,
Sage,
get
KZ
on there, bring in Herds maybe. I
Yeah.
heard JV92 is pretty good,
Yeah,
Philippox
yeah.
and Nade. Maybe chuck them on the roster. I reckon these guys could probably win something.
They could potentially compete. This roster is, I think, quite interesting to me because we've obviously got 2 newcomers to the league. We've got Owen and River. You got Shont, who's been around for quite some time in the Tier 2, Tier 3 scene, has played a fair few games under the Tier 1 category. Same with Karma. Real is, I think, only just started to come in last year with a bit of experience. So there is murmurs of a roster that could potentially start to compete, Mandy. Do we think, what are the expectations for this stage? Do we think that they could compete against the top 4?
I think top 4 is a bit ambitious, to be honest, for this team. Like, I think you're right in saying that. So Sean, Karma, and Realize have all played on that former Not Quite Sure roster led by Kaken and President back in the day last year. But yeah, coming back into T1, they had a break towards the latter half of last year, and now they're back into it. So I think, by all means, this team is by far the most green going into it, maybe outside of 6T, but they've got their own historic experience. So I think the expectations for these guys, like, I think just try and look competitive in these games. I don't think making like your top 4, top 2, whatever is probably in the line of sight for these dudes. But yeah, looking competitive, I think looking like a Tier 1 team is certainly doable.
Just to piggyback on what you said earlier, Mandy, about Kaken and Real is actually, funnily enough, on this graphic coming up. That NQS roster, Not Quite Sure, back in the day, these guys were teammates. And now they're playing against each other. Always fun to have former teammates go head-to-head in the server. And, of course, in the head-to-head graphic here, quite a contrast between these two guys. Kaken maybe didn't have the most phenomenal start, but this is a guy who just jumps around, rolls all the time. And this roster he's a part of, 6T, like any player on that roster could play support. Anyone could play, you know, your primary entry. Anyone could fit in anywhere. And it's just really about what they decide to go with. And I think maybe he obviously had a bit of a rough start in their opening game. And Real is quite the opposite, 1.5 KD. Always nice to start strong.
And, you know, given their performance yesterday, I think that's you know, quite the testament to where Real is at. You know, they, look, albeit it was a close game against Man LFO, they still ended up losing that matchup. So, you know, there's something to be said there that Real is /Fakers, whatever you want to call him, is really a performer that could make things interesting. That is indeed a cat. I think
so cute.
That's
had
an appearance twice. Yeah,
I love that.
He's so small.
Bailey, okay, now I gotta have a conversation with you, Bailey. I need more from you.
He's scratching his ears. He's so cute.
I need more from you, Bailey. There's a lot of love in my heart for you, but I need more out of your player cam.
You want a different player cam each play day.
I want the cap player cam that we used to have. He used to put it on top of his hat.
The hat.
We've seen it in some of the most unique places. So I might get on the frog and toad with him and have a bit of a conversation. But we can talk about the vetoes a little bit here, Dev, because guess what?
I actually can guess where we're going to.
Yeah, where? Tell me.
Well, no, I can't get. I'm lying. I've seen where we're going to already.
No.
So I could spoil it. All right, I'm gonna guess. What are the chances that we go? Okay, so I have a feeling we're not gonna go to Clubhouse. Okay, so not Night Heaven Lab. So if it's not Clubhouse, it's not gonna be Bank. So
hurry up and show Chalet.
I don't think it'll be Skyscraper either, because Panic don't like Skyscraper. So are they gonna ban out Skyscraper? Oh, 6T ban. Oh, he got a Chalet. What a guess!
No.
I actually did guess that. I'll be honest.
I'm proud of you.
No, you
Good
didn't.
job.
There's no way you guessed that. Oh, you actually don't have it
He's
up?
got evidence as well.
I have the Wikipedia up right now.
Can I give you a fun fact? Can I hit you? Can I slap you with a fun fact?
Only if it's sponsored by Jake Xenox Venditti.
All right, so Jake Xenox Venditti has brought you this message via Dev Marta, and that is that Chalet was played yesterday by Panic Esports, and they lost it 5-7 to Man Esports LFO.
That's it?
That was I mean, it's not fun, but it was a fact.
I was waiting for, like, you know, an unbelievable statistic.
No, I don't have those. I have a fun storyline.
Oh, what's your storyline?
Well, just
sorry, man, you don't even bother.
Yeah,
do you want? If you want to talk at some point, you can. Just like we can
can
get some duct tape, put that over my mouth. I can shut up for once in my life. But first, just harking back to what we were talking about yesterday, right? This league is kind of like 2 till 7 is going to be tight.
Yeah.
Bliss at the top. Is it Panic at the bottom? That's my question.
No, man. I don't know. We've seen Circular Spheres
maybe
twice
it's CS at the bottom.
No.
Look,
well, it's a good sign for both these teams if they're not as bad as CS.
To be fair, any team at the bottom will be panicking. It's time to throw it over to two of just the greatest people to ever grace this game. Two of the nicest guys I've ever met in my life. Yeah, I know. This is just ridiculous. They honestly, they have a special place in my heart. It's Ace and Dez.
Oh, Robbie. And here I was about to send you my commiserations of basically what was the solo Dev show on the couch. But no, you know what? Enjoy it. I actually enjoy listening to Dev, and it was a great Xenox fun fact.
I didn't hear the fun fact because I did not have my headset on, so...
You didn't miss much.
It didn't sound like I did, but I did hear Dev talk about duct tape to keep him quiet. I would love to find some duct tape when we play ranked, but a story for another day.
Yeah, I mean, we head to Chalet for what will be the final match of the night here for the Oceania League. It's day 2, and already coming to a close here as we've got ourselves a decent game, I like to say, in the pre-match start of the day discussion, if you will. It was a while ago now, but kind of like the up-and-comers versus the older heads when it comes to this game. Panic, of course, got themselves this kind of young, nice rejuvenated roster, and then 6Targets are like the complete opposite, essentially, for the most part. As we head into this one, indeed, 6Targets will be on the defense to begin. My hope and desire is that we don't have a replication of the match that we just saw in that 7-0 beatdown. Odium against Circular Spheres. I would love this game to be nice and close, and I have a sneaky suspicion it will be.
What leads you to that sneaky suspicion, Jakey?
Probably Panic starting on the attack. Chalet map. They're meant to be this young, fragging team. We saw Karma yesterday actually was pretty influential, and I think this is the kind of map where he and probably the rest of his team can find a way to get involved, get a couple of rounds to begin. Hopefully by the end of the half, it's something like 3-3 or 4-2. And that there obviously sets us up for a good second half. We'll see if that does translate in that direction. The other part of the equation too is probably 6Targets yesterday. Honestly disappointed me a little bit. They lost to Odium, but Odium actually have been pretty good. We've seen their follow-up today. And so maybe we don't quite have the full picture when it does come to 16. Trademark.
Ying IQ taken off the attacking board. IQ is quite the intriguing attacking ban. It's not one that we see frequented. Will bolster the Valkyrie if she is not banned out, and so in response, 6Targets will get rid of her. Maestro as well off the board. That's a target ban from Panic. Maestro is an operator that 6Targets do quite enjoy playing, and that role is filled by a couple of different players. Seen it before here on Chalet, but we will not see it this time around. Again, as I always preface, it does leave up plenty of other really powerful defenders that still persist, as Army, Solace, and the Fenrir make it through. 6Targets starting D first, and we go to second floor for the first round.
Yeah, I mean, what's your thoughts on this match? Because kind of giving you mine. Do you agree, or are you very much disagreeing?
This is a bit of a weird game for me. I think 6Targets probably did underperform a little bit yesterday, so today is going to, for me, give a better barometer as to where this team is actually at. If we see a similar-esque performance today, where they struggle a little bit, maybe even lose, then I think it probably sets in stone that 6Targets maybe aren't a real threat for top, that top 3, maybe top 4 discussion. On the side of Panic, I think they probably have less pressure on them heading into this stage with less experience on the board. And for them, it's certainly a stage to learn and improve. They could prove themselves today, though, that they can take down a relatively experienced and formidable roster in 6Targets, though. So an opportunity, I think, for them to get some work done today, because their last game wasn't, particularly poor. Mounted that little comeback against Man LFO. Unfortunately, lost 5-7, though. So they didn't get any points towards the standings, and that may have left a bit of a bitter taste in their mouth, but as mentioned today, an opportunity to rebound.
So that wonderful little camera shot as well to begin this game. Shout out to our observers in Cthulhu and Sky.
Mainly Cthulhu.
They are working hard, as always, to bring us the best product here for the Oceania League.
It is the best league.
It really is. Entertainment factor through the roof.
I've never felt so entertained in all my life watching a 7-0 on Bank.
What about a double stack over towards Piano? Heavily guarded here. Opening kill for Cake. Tex in Piano, going for that peak as well. Lots of blinds of sight created in towards Library. Also some bedroom to begin on the defense for 6Targets. Great start. You get rid of the ace. Only hard breach of Braw, and also no secondaries available. How much that may change the round. Vulcan canister as well on the castle barricade, and so a little surprise for Karma as he opens that off, and so far, great start here for 6Targets. Can they keep it going?
Yeah, open breach here, just making it a little more difficult for the attack to approach. Kaken with line of sight, and Kaken with a down, Karma to fall, but probably in a position where he can be picked up. Kaken holding down the line still, footholds the library box position, so an info read here for the dock, and he's not being pressured by that exterior door.
Yeah, he should actually have info on that down having taken place simply because of the river cross and the way he went over towards library stairs. That is also an assumption, though, as obviously Kaken takes a bit of damage, but he is playing the dock. He can heal himself back up. Under 60 seconds left, still holding half wall. Will drop down as well. There's another opportunity. Good shot onto Karma. Does find the kill eventually. After getting the down earlier. And already damage onto River. Need to see those bees buzzing. None used so far on the Quan Hive launcher. And a lurk as well. Over towards Fireplace Stairs. Shot has taken some damage. And so far it's all one-way traffic. As I say that, though, Reelers will change the tune. Gets the kill onto Kaken. 30 seconds remaining now and still out library hallway control. They do need to clear out Piano, which has not really been achieved as the bees now start to make their presence known. And there goes River. Ooh, lovely shot. Well, that was clean. 6 targets the whole way through, beginning to end. Loved the setup that they brought. There was no real solar pressure on them, and they were able to pretty comfortably defend that balcony pressure too. We saw that with the castle barricades, the Goyo canisters as well. Actually, kind of like that from 6 targets. That was nice.
Yeah, good open hold. The attack was poor, though. If it's open library, open breach, should be anticipating a half-wall position to be held by Kaken. So the fact that they lose the opening pick to that and then keep feeding into it without pressure on that fluke balcony position was a little bit disappointing. Then double window perhaps too late. It's hard to be critical on how they responded to the Grim util being deployed because they already had significant man disadvantage. So that's nothing to really critique too harshly, but yeah, allowing Kaken to cook is never a good idea. Very good player in holding key positions like that, so credit to him. It's not to take away from his achievements in that round. Did a good job holding down the line, hit his shots, played relatively measured as well, which often in a position like that you can overpeak and overreact to info, but he maintained the position nicely and without much pressure to really dislodge him from there. It proved difficult to clear. And as a result, Panic Esports never got into the round.
5 games for the second round now for 6 targets, electing to send us there instead of going elsewhere. Kitchen Dining, for example, probably would have been a more prominent site, but alas, switch it up. Speaking of switch up as well, Brava and Capital brought the attacker repick late in the piece there by Panic, so they very much switch it up. Straight over towards Library. Immediately direct pressure. This is where the Capital can be so strong. Already good drone information as well. Tex can very much get, well, basically taken out of this position with a good incendiary bolt. Frag grenades available as well from Reelers, and also the Quan Hive launcher too. And they actually combine the bees with the frag grenade. Tex eventually makes the drop. Doesn't really want to hold that for too long. But credit to Panic, they have been able to get rid of it pretty quickly. Mirror going up as well, and a little peek from Specker. The battle over towards Mud. Voluntarily won by Karma, and now has spotted that mirror window, has gone up in towards games. Karma will hold the angle, maybe expecting a re-peek, had that yellow ping information. Knows there is a player holding close, and of course as Tex continues to ring out shots, Karma will think better of it. Still 2 minutes to go in the round. Don't have to rush this, and he is a big factor in obviously getting rid of this mirror window. Needs to stay alive, does do so, and Bailey now with no vision in bar stock.
Yeah, relatively well played by both teams there, but it is Karma to find the advantage for his team. Elsewhere, Bailey under pressure as the flames are deployed from Sean. Can
Tex
Panic play off this execute util? Unfortunately for Tex, he falls. Minute 25 then on the clock, and Karma good for 3 in the round. Kaken does still have control up above, so that's a threat for Panic, but they should still be able to overload site.
Yeah, I mean, Panic have info on both players too, because they know that Bailey's been playing bar stock on the mirror, and Kaken's been shooting up above as well on mezzanine. And then there goes Karma with the kill onto Kaken, and he knows exactly where Bailey is. Well, Shot will take the final kill though, and no ace for Karma. Surely in that moment in a 5-on-1, you've got to at least give your teammate the opportunity to go for the ace. But it is Pro League. You don't really want to take any kind of chances. Shot gets that opportunity, gets the kill. And a good start as well for Panic. Good start from both teams, at least 6 targets in the opening round. Looked very nice on their defensive hold. And you kind of critiqued Panic a little bit, but boy, that was a lot better in that second round. It was bar games though. I'm a little surprised that it go to Kitchen and Dining, for example, in the second round. Now they opt to here in the third.
Well, it was just a better job of them prioritizing targets and finding win conditions. As we often see on Chalet, getting an entry fragger into Mudroom and then having the ability to make plays from what is a very difficult position as a defense to respond to can help open up rounds. Specker tried his best to contest, he falls, and then you think about the lines of sight that can be held from the doorway. Tex tried his best to obviously play into that, or at least put that player at bay, but not really meant to be. And it meant that a lot of the other power positions around the map very quickly became irrelevant. It wasn't a case of then Panic having to focus util on the mezzanine cross or anything like that. It was very much direct. The Capital util supported that, and the Ash charges on the mirrors as well. And so for 6T, it was a very, very tricky round for them. And again, as we head into round 3, the storyline shifts back to kind of what we were saying in the prelude, which is that there's every world in which this becomes a close game. And hopefully it is, because we are yet to go OT here for OCE.
I think we went one yesterday.
No, we did not.
No, we didn't. Okay.
No. I thought you were going to say today, and I was like...
No, not
oh,
today.
but I definitely know yesterday we didn't.
Okay.
Yesterday we had a...
Did we get a 7-5? Was there one close game yesterday?
Yeah, and it was Panic that lost. Remember?
Okay.
We had 7-3, 7-5, 7-4, 7-0.
Okay. Hoping to kill for Realers as Nico gets eliminated. Presume over towards Trophy. Judging by Realers' position with the EE1D utilized. 1v1 remaining. Good information as well immediately here towards Westmate with that drone. Pings out the mirror window, which they can deal with. Also, Kuan Hive Launcher used as well. I believe Piano side has gotten themselves a bit of red ping information. Tech's holding close on the kitchen with the Izami Keeper barriers. Sort of just plug that hole. Reinforce over towards Trophy. Up onto the roof for Shot. Bailey, top floor and bedroom. So all over the map right now for 6Targets. Very much playing into this top hold of kitchen dining, but has been weakened a little bit through Trophy side.
So minute 30, maybe a set play opportunity here. Solar with the Grim to flush out this position and force Kaken back. Karma was lurking elsewhere, so he may look to connect through Piano Hall. Don't know exactly how far he's been able to progress. Specker now potentially under pressure on site, though. It's a double stack fireplace here from the attack, although the wall is electrified. That complicates things. As mentioned, though, Karma was in a potential playmaking position. He eventually finds that play. In the meantime, Tex responds to 4v3, and 6Targets do have vertical supremacy.
Oh, lovely shot. Real is on the move as well. Cleared out Westman 2 visually as they get themselves a bit of dining control. And Sean's going to go for the plant. Not too fast about Solar. Bailey's still up in towards Office One, roaming around. Karma a little bit careless up above. Might just give 6Targets a look back in, considering they do have the vert. An opportunity, and Bailey with the spray controlled it well enough to eventually land that final bullet onto the head of Reelers. One outside Trophy window. Time, obviously a massive factor. Kate can go for the jiggle peek. Can he make the cross off of that spray? Yes, he can.
20 seconds then on the clock, and Shot has retaken up above. And with Kaken on the ground and Bailey low, surely this is a difficult one to win out. And in fact it is. Shot finds that position in time, hits the shot, and in doing so confirms the round for Panic.
Yeah, wonderful retake up above from Sean. Panic were able to hold on in that situation, considering the way in which they got the plant down. Pretty decent point in that round. They had the numbers and just started to lose bodies. Credit to 6Targets, Kaken and co for being able to just kind of hold on and get themselves back into that round despite the plant going down relatively early. But question marks defensively then for 6Targets. Nico over towards Trophy, gets caught out. The fireplace rush in towards dining. I honestly think a little too easy. And considering they didn't ever really get full top control, I think 6Targets should have been able to do a little bit better defensively. Alas not. So attacking rounds now for Panic confirmed. Down to basement we go. For 6Targets into the 4th round. Early days here, but if 6Targets lose this game, it's a long way back to the top echelon of this group stage. And you haven't even played the likes of Antic, the likes of Bliss. You're basically losing to your direct competitors.
So I thought we were going to see the Buck Ram combo here for basement, and it's something we have seen already a couple times throughout the stage for OCE, but it will not be the case. Instead, a little bit more of a focus here on information gathering tools for Panic Esports with the Jackal and the Grim combination. You also think about the dedicated drone operator of the Twitch as well, and Reelers will be very eager to deal with primarily the mirror windows from Bailey, and then secondary to that will be the likes of the Kaid Electro Claws, the Wamai Magnets as well, which could compromise the execute here from the attack. But they have to get to that phase first. Spearheaded with the map clear. Thankfully, though, I think it will be pretty smooth sailing here for Panic. Doesn't look like 6Targets are all too eager to contest on the roam.
No, look at their lineup. It's all about site defense here from 6Targets. Tubarão as well to make sure main breach doesn't get opened up. The Fenrir for the close angles on site. Kaid Claw, of course, to kind of double down with the Tubarão mirror. Again, it's all on site defense.
Well, it is
here.
double dining, though, I think, right? So we'll see how this goes.
Well, I mean, I guess, yeah, this also works too if you want to hold this dining position. Eventually makes it difficult to get Hatch as well over towards main lobby.
And Bailey can't drop with Shont on vert, so there's every opportunity for the attack to isolate this mirror.
Well, is this an oversight, though? It's pretty much free second floor, put pressure in towards dining. You get this double kill and open up really this entire round for the offense.
There you
Eventually shot through from Trophy on the pretty easy vaulting because there's no pressure. You're basically putting yourself inside of a literal box. And eventually you will get overwhelmed. It is classical, though, of course, for Basement or Chalet to be defended up above, but that's more of a roam, if you will. A little bit more freedom. They do fall off of that. Lobby now very much in control. This is where Shont can really get to work with the Skeleton Key. Still 14 bullets to go. And then, of course, they can open up this hatch as well if they want to go for the drop. Still one Salma available for Owen. Getting stalled out on the main breach, but as good as Tubarão is with those Zotos, eventually they will open up. Kaken, though, well, speaking of, the Tubarão gets the kill onto Shont. Real is also very low, but he did win the battle against Specca, so still alive, gone up. Tex over towards Blue, waiting for a library stairs push.
Grim in play, so holding Blue should be tough, judging on where River's position. Should be able to cover this. Smoke in play, though, and Owen finds a pick, so a lot of pressure on these two remaining defenders. Tex has a read, good game sense, but he still loses the fight. Kaken want to fight earlier through the vert, now stuck on an island inside of Con.
Who's got kit?
10 seconds, don't need the kit when you can find the kills. It's another round for Panic.
Yeah, I mean, 6 targets. Again, it goes back to the early portion of that round, the defensive hold over towards Dining. You can clearly see what they're kind of wanting to do, keep hold of those hatches and obviously force out the clear. But when you do lose that player over towards Kitchen and Dining, you then very much got to weaken yourself defensively on site hold. Yeah, I mean, hard to be too critical. I think Panic actually have just kind of played that well, and it was interesting you brought up early round, they don't go for the Ram Buck combo, and I think that's a really good play. Sometimes it's kind of like too much. You really need both. The Buck alone does the job, and actually in that case, the Buck was able to open up floorboard second floor, and then eventually main lobby as well down to basement. So you didn't really need the Ram in the end. The Jackal helps facilitate a bit of that roam clear, which typically on a basement site you will see defenders employ. Panic actually, I think, have really stepped up from that opening round where they honestly looked a little poor. The next 3 rounds have actually been really good here.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. Round number 1 for me was very alarming in the amount of just typical fundamental things on that site, attacking that particular site bedroom that were just completely off the mark, just completely missing, really. And then last 3 rounds, it's certainly been a bit of a switch up.
Ooh, Damos.
Now, we are back to this site, though. It's not as an aggressive of a hold here from 6 targets. The main wall itself now is reinforced off, and laser gates in play, but there are still footholds in towards library, and I would expect half wall to be a position that 6T will play. So Panic could either look to hit library side, or at least based on the initial spawn, maybe poke a little bit more over towards Solar this time around, and with Grim in play, that does become a difficult position to hold. Damos as well, available for info gathering.
You know, I love as well whenever a player locks in Damos, it's almost a sign as if I'm going to back myself in. It's that kind of mentality that you need to have when you play this operator. It's not a freebie. You're not playing like a super overpowered operator that it's just going to be free kills and it's so great. Like, you need to play your part well. Okay, you target the Jaeger. He can now also see you as well. Karma. Bit of an interesting spray, but always difficult when you're shooting upwards. And eventually has been dealt with, shot as well earlier by Nico. Suddenly Realist needs to get involved, play off of that death mark. Long range angle. Obviously his position now known as well over towards Trophy, something to keep in mind here. On the 3 versus 5, 6 targets, and there's the shot back from Specca. Well, there you go, you want to track me? Well, that's fine. I know exactly where you are. And that's the issue when it does come to playing Damos. You need to back yourself in, be ready for that kind of battle. Unfortunately for Realist, did come up short. 2 versus 4. 6 targets with a solid response. You know, on office and bedroom. So far, it's been a really good sight for them.
Yeah, it was a good hold on the vert there from 6T through West Main. Clearly, Panic wanted to get Karma in a playmaking position off the back of the death mark by sneaking up through that West Main position, and it was interrupted really well by defense.
They know they're making this push, by the way. Owen just got shot at as he was going over towards Library, so Tex knew full well that they just made entry. And pretty much a collateral. I'll give him that. That's as closest to a collat as I can basically say.
Oh, you'll give it to him, will you?
Yeah, I'll give it to him. Yeah, I've done that. Yeah, someone did peek that bathroom window as Owen was making up towards the ladder. Got a little tag in, and with that information proceeded to go to Tech, says, hey, they're coming your way. He was prepared, ready. Office and bedroom 1. Second time for 6Targets. They haven't won any of the other sites so far. We do go to kitchen and dining, which of course, while the extension up above can play pretty similar to office and bedroom, it's not the same. Does this have the hallmarks of turning into a decent little match between these two teams? 6Targets, their fundamentals on office and bedroom have been sensational. Panic have pretty much fallen pieces on both times, both attempts. But elsewhere though, Panic have looked also really good. 3-2 scoreline. Very important round to close this half. I do believe statistically Chalet has been still favoring the defense.
Yeah.
And so 3-3 even isn't technically a win for 6Targets. It does put them back into a good position.
Attackers objective, defuse a bomb.
Wait, what happened to that mine? Did that just disappear into the ether? Maybe it did go on the roof, I'm not entirely sure. I actually had that happen last night in a game with a razor bloom. I somehow clipped it through the floor by throwing it into someone. That was fun to work out. Anyway. This attack will be spearheaded over towards the library initially. It is, though, being held in response and in that mezzanine position. I think it's Tex on Mozzie, but he vacates it quite quickly, so the drone will follow immediately, and Karma will waste no time in taking that space.
A lot of the rounds that Panic have been successful has probably come from these entries of Karma. Straight in, mezzanine. Owen can open up this office wall. Karma going to play off of this initially. No real close contest over towards Piano is where the main hold's going to come from. Cake actually finding a kill from Piano's side, but the kill onto Owen. That's going to be the end of the Selmas and, well, the end of any kind of hard breach potential for the remainder of the round. Mirror now goes up, looking in towards office. Specker the one holding down below. Good footholds through the hallway. Anyone wants to slow push that, it's going to be really difficult.
So 2 players down below then for defense, Tex, Nico, respectively. Meanwhile, to top floor we go. Karma and Shunt looking to apply a little bit of a pinch. River elsewhere, though, does find the first for Panic here. Round 6, final attack. They can look to take a little bit of ground, but Bailey, spotted by the shock drone. Shot at by said shock drone, I believe. And in the midst of that will fall. So just over a minute to go here. 65 seconds. Panic 4 versus 3. They have vert control. The player's basement, though, can they potentially, Nico Tex, pull off a flank to flip the round?
Yeah, still a Nitrocell available as well for Tex. You can play off that as a bit of a win condition. Slow push up, fireplace stairs, one on the mezzanine, I believe.
You're being watched.
Watching
and
this
you
position,
are dead.
and you're dead. Yeah.
Good night.
Smart from Reelers. 40 seconds for Specker and Nico to try and flip this round. Tiny bit of information there for Nico up above, but as the time starts to dwindle, you can probably sense the pressure building. Specker, Mistrone, he's still okay in this little corner of dining, and Shot will catch him here? No.
Oh, I think so, surely.
Not too sure, actually. Did kind of just drive by. By the way, not a lot of time. This is where it's suddenly, as the time continues to dwindle, more and more of an opportunity for 6Targets to steal this. Time low. Denial of the plant, the main win here. Shot through the smoke, a bit of damage from Nico. Specker got the kill. More sprays coming from Nico. Pull out the bailiff. Job done. No time. Shot can't stick the plant because he hasn't got the kit. Yeah, time runs out. Just had to go that bit faster. You know, as I see the clock dwindling, 20 seconds, 15 seconds, 10 seconds, it's a 4-on-2. You've got numbers, boys. Start to push sight, swing, targets, trade each other.
Yeah, I mean, a couple of issues stand out for me towards the end of that round. I suppose the first is the fact that they didn't seem convinced that Kitchen was clear, so they deployed the Grim util there. We had the hindsight of knowing that it was. On top of that, they had a significant man advantage, and instead of posting somebody up above to catch the defenders on their rotation to try and defend these positions, or sending someone for, in that instance, a back hit through the likes of Dining Hallway, they all just stacked through Trophy. And stacking seems to be one of the main issues we see in this region late round, where teams panic and just say, let's just brute force a position. And overloading is one thing when done right, but when it looks wrong like that, when it looks a little bit silly, it unfortunately does leave the attack red-faced. So credit goes to both Nico and Specker. They did a good job. Nico aggressing through the smoke and doing a bit of a Stewie 2K was the right play. However, for Panic, much like yesterday, in terms of round count and trying to mount, you know, a little bit of a comeback and making a name for themselves, in that round more specifically here, day 2, again, they did the hard work, not rewarded for it though with some shoddy execution at the end. So 3-3 scoreline, round 7. Defensively though, even being the map of Chalet, they are on the favoured side. So,
I mean, even in that moment, and not disagreeing with you at all, obviously it's a bit of a weakness that we see from a lot of teams here in this region, but you're still 4-2. You can actually make that play. Like, that's actually not like going to lose you the game. As long as you go in with enough time, you can obviously make those trades happen. 3-3 though, it's not totally undeserved. Panic would be kicking themselves, probably thinking at 4-2 would be more of a deserved scoreline, but hey, you got to get the job done, and you did not. 6Targets, what have you got on the attack now? Some older heads now making entries. Also curious if we might see Tex on the Kali at some point. It is a map that can facilitate its usage. There's a bit of a Kali fiend. Saw Oda on it earlier today as well, make good use of it.
yeah, Bliss using it on that jigsaw balcony position to hold across the bathroom. Every world in which we see it here from 6T, a lot of Kali play from them. Not only last year, but also in the qualifiers here for 2024. So I'm expecting it probably at some point throughout the stage, maybe also today as well. Midway point of the round though, and 6Targets slowly chipping away at map control. Panic haven't really had to contest a whole lot, yet they still hold more than half the map. So for Panic, it's probably a win at the moment. Next 20, 30 seconds will be quite telling as we enter the midpoint of the round.
One Logic Bomb available still for Nico to play off. We saw some good usage of that from Dirty back on Bank in the last match. And obviously the rest of his team being able to utilize it to its full effectiveness. And the repel now for Bailey outside bedroom. Information. Plenty. With that, he's able to back up his own work. The run out though, the timing. Oh, he almost won it. Still almost got the kill, guys. Still almost got the kill. He didn't though.
If you lose that, you uninstall.
Oh, 100%. 4 versus 3. Panic. Whew. Close one. But advantage. Tex. Half wall. No, doesn't go for the half wall. Just plants on the breach. Is anyone going to deny this? Hello? No sound cue, no info, no idea. And a chance now for 6Targets. Ego control, mezzanine control. Panic have to get on the move to retake this particular site of Office River immediately to Library Stairs. He goes one close right. And we'll see if he's ready for Specker. No! Specker's dead to Realers, but doesn't matter. Numbers still then with 6T. 1 versus 2. Nico the solo. He can't hit the kill. Karma then gets a triple, and Panic are able to solve the issue, which was a bit of a sneaky plant there from 6Targets.
Well, that was a stressful round from the beginning of the execute to the final 2 versus 1. It really kicked off there, and I sort of, precluded it by saying the next 30 seconds will be telling as we entered that transitional phase. Bailey did a good job on that double window position, then gets time, still almost wins the fight, but Shant landed it, and that was a really important fight because despite the opportunistic plant there from 6Targets, Panic had the advantage. Really good retake pathing through both Fireplace and Library Stairs. Synced relatively well. The likes of Specker put in a pinch. They did a good job there. It was a bit frantic and looked a little bit messy. Letting the plant go down, not ideal, but they played the retake well.
Shout out to our replay operator as well, Notary, for catching pretty much almost all of that. Not an easy job on the replay sticks. I've had my fair share of opportunities. And when There's a lot happening in very quick succession. It's hard work. Got to have good APM.
What about WPM when you're casting words per minute?
Ah, that doesn't really matter. Too much yap.
You are a yapper.
Do love a bit of a yap, yeah. That's why this is my job.
Well, is it really a job?
I don't know, actually.
More of a hobby.
Yeah. 4-3 scoreline as Panic get themselves the lead once again. Probably the lead that they would have felt was deserved going into this particular half. And I'd say as the game has progressed, they've certainly been the better team. Carly, though, into play. Kind of mentioned it in the previous round that it very well become a factor. And yeah, Tex is now straight on it.
I want to see some quick scopes. I want to see some quick scopes.
Very proficient on this operator. Shot over towards Blue, trying to just see if he can catch any drones. 3 have been eliminated this round so far for 6 targets. And Tex, a little bit of a live drone. So far doesn't go that much forward, not into the hallway, despite the drone information.
Well, the sniper and the lancers are quite versatile. Tex can hold long lines of sight, open hatches, good counter to the mirror, which won't see play in this round, but may in future. And makes the ability for the defense to retake like we saw in the last round or flank a lot more difficult. In combination with the Nomad air jabs as well from Bailey, Panic may need to play a more bunkered style of siege. Now, without dedicated vert, no ram, no buck, that could actually work. Although horizontally, breach is now being opened up, and that prompts Owen to swing really,
Oh my god, he's still going.
really wide.
Whew. Well, he knows he's outside.
I would hope so.
Oh, yeah, I would hope so as well. But he obviously
He's in a really awkward position
that,
now.
but yeah.
He either finds one because 6 targets don't know he's there,
Oh, the
or he gets
slow
droned and he
creep.
dies. Well, it is the first.
And he should know there might be a response coming from the main lobby, but Sean coming up fireplace stairs is very much real.
That was a tasty bait.
Yeah, that was really well played from Panic. They very much were in sync as to sort of where 6 targets were going to be attacking from in that moment. 60 seconds remaining in the round. Specker over towards Bar. Close by to sight with a Selma Aqua Breacher. They can open up a sight line.
I don't know why you're smiling at me.
I said to you a couple of weeks ago that I would mention the full name of the Selma.
Ah. 45 seconds is...
Oh no!
Oh! I thought that was going to maybe be the demise of Owen, but he wins that fight. Specker falls. And the win conditions for 6 targets here in round number 8 are dwindling.
And when you watch your mate just get blasted there by an air jab, Nico on the balcony though finds a kill on Takama. Not a lot of time remaining in the round. 4 versus 2, easy advantage for Panic. You'd think, although not too many rounds ago, they did lose from this very numbered position. Bailey gets 2 on the entry in. Does lose his life to River, down to Nico. Against River, and Shont does have the kit, but a Gumine, oh, that's never fun. In a red time position too, you can't really go that much further. Has to pull that out. Now needs to stick to plant, and surely River and Shont, yeah, and especially with the Solus in play, never going to be able to get that down successfully. 5-3. Panic get themselves a decent little lead here on Chalet.
Yeah, things got a little bit intriguing over towards that breach. Dining wall opened up. We saw the aggro dining hallway. And ultimately, it was a big bait. 6 targets got drawn into trying to isolate that pick, and that's understandable considering they probably identified that as a freeway into the round. Unfortunately, though, there was an oversight. The flank comes through, the trade's successful. Here is that replay. So Owen not only is able to find the first pick, but he also then survives long enough for his teammate in Shont to come alongside, aggress fireplace stairs, and find a second pick. There you go. So good work. 30 seconds left.
Well, he didn't get the kill, Realist did.
Yeah, he should have got the kill.
But he should have got the kill.
Either way, there's then, what, 2v5, 30 seconds.
Still good.
They almost chipped away at 6 targets.
I mean,
but again, with time dwindling, a 2v2 is really not that great. Like, again, you chip away, whoop-de-doo, but when you're trying to get the plant down, it's a 1v2, red time, can't put a foot wrong, and ultimately it was actually a true 1v2 in the end. With Solus in play as well.
Yeah.
And no vert control.
Well, 5-3 now for Panic. We head down to the basement. It's no Whiteham, the 9th round. And they've gotten themselves into a really good position where they could go on and find the win. obviously just their second match under the organization. Would be great for them to get one on the board. 6Targets, though, it would confine them to a 0-2 start for this stage. And mentioned before, it wouldn't just be a case of, say, losing to the real top dogs. They'd be very much losing to those teams around their position, middle of the pack. Would not be the kind of start that would set them up well. Fortunately for them in this particular stage, it's not a matter of best of ones until done.
Whoa!
Playoffs would come by
Gee,
and we would just in flames for a bit.
That was hot.
We were cooking. And we did, though, miss the 2 kills.
Yeah, good observing, guys.
Well, 1 for 1. So not a 5-on-5, more of a 4-on-4 for the remainder of this. Dockerby, Oryx. Kind of feel like
who wins out? I feel like that's actually a bit of a stalemate, right? Dockerby for the map clear, Oryx for the roam.
On Snow Wine as well, I feel like the Oryx has even more value.
Yeah.
But also so does the Dockerby on the clear, but they've got the Jackal. So actually, I might give it to 6Targets and say...
Yeah, no. If there was a shield in play, then perhaps it would, you know, bode a little bit better for 6T. But I mean, you seem to think that it is 6T, so I'm happy to agree with you on this one.
Activating drone.
Or at least agree.
To disagree?
Well, agree
Or
to
agree
not
to agree.
agree to not agree. I don't know.
Room clear. Right now for 6Targets underway. Top floor, Karma. Still though towards Trophy. Talk about aggression, but he loses the battle on the window peak. Kaken ready for it. Does give 6Targets now the momentary advantage with a lot of time remaining. A little hold towards Library as well for Reelers. Very much committing to this extension up above for Panic on the roam. River can make the drop and does do so. Plenty of utility as well close by to the drop. Can also play out a couple of goo mines. Now River and Owen can hold in towards Wine. And Reelers still above in Library. Probably needs to play around this position for a little bit longer, but he has been droned out, and with that, he will now go for a swift rotate.
So a lot of time remaining then in the round for 6Targets. 2 hard breach exothermics available still for Kaken. Snowmobile's standing and an opportunity to back breach as well, create that pinch. Big auto breaches from up above for Vert. And so the pieces of the puzzle being put in position here for 6Targets to really apply pressure on this defense.
Well, in terms of pieces for Panic, well, I never mind. Forget that. I was about to make a really good statement for them in this round. Fortunately, I did not because the round essentially is over. Spec with a nice kill over towards Boiler side. Kaken can now make his way in for the default plant. River to just go for one little hero play, but Tex will shut that down before it even begun. Much better round from 6Targets, and evidently in the end, they did not need the Dockerby. 10th round we go. This one heating up to be by far and away the closest game of the night. And I mean, we had 2 7-4s. I think this one can go all the way to say even overtime if it continues in this direction. Certainly a much better round from 6Targets. Bedroom and Office to make its way in for this 10th round. Now, Panic, have they got the experience and capabilities to close this game out?
Defenders, protect your bombs from being defused by attackers.
That was a bit hypothetical. You could have also maybe gone for an answer.
Which would you prefer? You posed it.
I want your answer. I want to know what the old Guzzle's thinking here. 5-4. You know, Panic have looked good. Can they close it out?
Uh,
I feel like as the pressure builds, 6Targets should be the team that can handle that pressure better.
I would totally agree. I think in terms of match official experience in being able to close out a game, 6Targets very much have that upper hand. The inexperience of Panic could potentially show here. But I think in terms of who is the better team inside of the server at the moment from what we've seen, it is Panic Esports for the most part. So it's all about keeping the ball rolling, not overthinking the scoreboard. One round at a time, as they always say. Like, it's quite literally the way you need to play it.
Is there a reliance, though, on Karma? 11-6, he was very influential in that first half. Good amount of entries.
I think there's been a healthy reliance. I think he's a good player at what he does. And in this kind of meta, if you want to lean into the lurk, it's fine, honestly.
Oh, early Logic Bomb as Tex is just also now making a swift entry in through Wine. I say swift, he's just kind of crouch walking it.
He's doing his own Karma cosplay.
Yeah, over towards blue now. And they've got the Jackal.
Oh, it's a kill.
Once again, that's a freebie. Tech's patience will pay off, and Shant will get eliminated. The Solar's gone. Same with the Legion in River. There's that pressure now being applied inside of the server by 6Targets. Panic starting to feel that pressure. 3 versus 5. And Karma's still alive, though, at the very least. Real is 2. He's been kind of the secondary fragger. Owen on the Fenrir, really good operator. This round is not a throw-away round. Logic Bomb, again, expended by Nico. I'm not sure how much they'll find off that, though.
Yeah, for 6Targets, with so much time remaining, it's important that they remain level-headed. We're not going to see a snowball round. They weren't in positions to continue to capitalize off this 2-player advantage. Instead, now they can stabilize, look to open up the main breach, get some crossfires established on the bathroom balcony, probably, if not double window, and then just execute in a clean fashion, half-wall default, not overcomplicating things. You look across at the defense, there's not much in the way of plant denial, really. Impacts for Realers, but that will be pretty limited in impact. And with text down below, there's no opportunity for Panic to disturb from below. So really good setup here from 6Targets. And now it's just about executing cleanly. Piano Crossler in play. So maybe a spanner in the works here, potentially. And with Karma finding one, that was text down below, unlocks the potential for vertical play and maybe a late round flank as well.
Yeah, and kind of gets back the fact that they've cleared out that Solar side too, so Karma can now turn his attention over towards this front push. Good kill from Specker, absolutely needed that. Oh! Kaken as well, catching Karma off guard on that ego push. Realers off the red ping, intel doesn't matter. 6Targets too strong in all of their one-on-ones. They win out successfully. A little sip of water as well for Tex as he gets hydrated. This one's going the distance, 5-5, all tied up. The pressure certainly mounting on Panic Esports. Despite the lead that they've had, and how good they've been inside of the server, it does, to me, feel like it's slipping away now. And 6Targets are getting themselves into a position where I think they're going to be able to take this game. And you hate the fact that you agree with me.
No, when you said slipping away, I thought back to your call about the slippery salmon. I still have flashbacks to that more intriguing call of your career, but this could turn out to be one of the more intriguing games that we have covered. 6Targets, good work last round. One player I do want to briefly talk about, because I feel like every time we've spectated him, he's had a really solid impact in the rounds when
Specker?
facilitated. No, actually Kaken. He started things off really nicely, half-wall defense in the opening round. And there's been just the odd occasion throughout the game where we've watched him and he's been in even just a slightly favorable position and he's just not putting a foot wrong. Like, Kaken is a real solid player. And the discussion heading into this stage was now in a more experienced lineup and structure in place. Can he, you know, continue to have a dip and maybe make more of a splash here in OCE? And yeah, to his credit, he's performing well.
The discussion going into this stage was very much of a positive one for Kaken and his team, where it was kind of like this kind of, to me at least, feels like the right fit. They will mesh well. He's got that experience around him. No longer is he kind of burdened by a bit of an inexperienced roster that, to be completely honest, at the time wasn't really all that mature either. This is very much a mature roster. Results haven't really been able to, well, speak for itself, but it is a long stage. This is also the kind of team that can grow with confidence as the stage progresses, and somewhat they're doing it in this match alone. Not sure if I'd call this a comeback, but keeping this match honest, and Panic now having to defend that lead that has evaporated, all tied up. Round 11, 5-5. The winner of this round will get themselves match point. Bailey on the Montang. Straight down Library Hallway, looking in towards Piano. And with that, also a little glimpse in through office to bedroom.
So let's see if the shield is enough to dislodge the defense. At times, we have seen teams across a couple of different regions struggle to deal with the new shield meta. Karma will likely be the first to play contact, last Banshee to go down. Backline now in place and the wall being opened up. So this will weaken the top hold. And a top hold that Panic will likely want to maintain or at least retake later on in the round, again, as we typically see on this site. Elsewhere, Tex lurks on the bathroom balcony, times Karma well, but doesn't quite land enough shots to find the kill.
Yeah, sometimes it's just a game of inches. Karma so fortunate to be alive there and almost dead still as he continues to contest. Tex can just keep tapping away, still full health. He knows he's landed quite a few tags onto Karma, that he is wounded. 60 seconds remaining in the round, and eventually shot through. Tex finds the head of River. Oh, he's done so much damage from that bathroom window. Drop down now to follow, immediately expecting them to all rotate down. And Tex continuing to wreak havoc. Head popped up, that was Karma, and he was so low on health as well. Went for the hero play, but Tex is the hero in this story. Struggling to open up Dining as Owen gets a such important kill onto Kaken. 2 on 4 now. Low on time. Shot again. Ineffectual as Owen losing that battle. Now he's further low on health and a Montaigne coming in his direction. Where's the help from Reelers? And how much help will that even really be? Forced all the way down to wide. Eventually then shot from the pistol. That's just bullying. Oh, it's bullying in it. From all angles of 6Targets. All 6 angles. They find a way to basically send Panic out of the server, and they have now found a match point.
I blame you. I blame you, Jake.
Yeah, I think it's my fault.
Panic, are they going to be able to close out this game?
Well, that was a question more than anything.
But the implication was that they will lack the experience to close out this game, and unfortunately, the reality may turn into that.
Well, 3 rounds in a row now for 6Targets, and they've been incredibly clean in those 3 rounds from a 5-3 deficit. And after having lost the opening 2 rounds of the half, it did very much look like Panic were going to be in the box seat to take this game. And that's why I posed that very question. Would they have that experience to be able to close the game out? Karma, what's this replay? Need a little kitten hug here. It's been a rough couple of rounds. Tactical timeout.
Can we do that after the broadcast?
Me
and you?
Who's the kitten?
It depends. Do you prefer being the big spoon or the little spoon, Jakey?
I don't mind a little bit of both.
Oh, well,
We can switch.
we can mix it up
Yeah. We can pivot.
creatively.
So, kitchen and dining. And an opportunity now for 6Targets to shut the door on this one and find their first win of the Oceania League. Or can Panic give us our first overtime experience for this stage? It does kind of go back to that question. Is it Karma or bust? You said probably not. You said it was a healthy reliance, but in these 3 rounds, Karma hasn't really been able to frag, and with that, they haven't been able to find wins.
I feel like we're posing a lot of questions in this game. Big spoon, little spoon, Panic, 6Targets. I suppose the follow-on from that,
Dockerby, Oryx.
OT or regulation. We haven't had OT yet here in OCE for 2024.
Is to defuse a bomb.
And I think this is a match that is deserving of that title. And it would be such a shame for Panic, because again, this has been another quote-unquote solid performance from them.
Yeah.
But you lose this round, again, you quite literally have nothing to show for it.
Yeah, what was it? It was 7-5 yesterday as well in that loss to Man Esports, right? And that
It was.
What was the map in that game, actually?
It was Charlotte.
It was Charlotte. We'll talk about deja vu. Yeah, they would hate to lose it from here after going up 5-3. And it's great for 6Targets, though, because the direction in which this game was heading and therefore their stage, it wasn't really shaping up to be a great look, but I could give them a bit of confidence. Heading into the week's break after this match, they can then forward review, look at the good, look at the bad, and get themselves ready to go for next week. Specker with an entry in towards Bart. That was off the back of that logic bomb used by Nico, who has still 1 available. Only 2 drones, by the way, have been eliminated despite the Solace on the board from Shont. We haven't really seen the Solace actually be all that effectual here on Chalet.
I was going to comment on before you just did there. Shont's impact here defensively on the Solace has been quite limited, and to the credit of 6Targets, they've been doing a good job in isolating him, putting him on the island. Dockerby Jackal combo for what may be the final round here. So a combination that Shont needs to be mindful.
Oh, wait, where are we going? No, he missed it! Oh! Well, he got the kills. He did not miss at the very least. Now 5 on 2. And just as we were kind of questioning Shont a little bit, he gives us the firm answer of his impact. 5 versus 2. As K-Kid and Tex now have to salvage this round. Long range angle from the main entrance. Kaken, though, finds a kill. Can Tex follow up? Still time and a kit available in the hands of Kaken. Flashes to go out. Straight to Tiny, never mind smokes, and a shot, and a chance, and Tex cannot land the shots. Long range angle, difficult to land even with the ACOG. And puts Kaken in a very difficult position, but he's up for the task. 40 seconds left. Unfortunately though, the task is just too heavy. Owen to get the final kill, and we go to overtime for the first time this stage.
Big double kill in round number 12. Tech pause called. And a good opportunity for these teams to just relax a little bit after what has been a pretty pressure-inducing last few rounds. Panic will kick things off on the attack here for overtime. Statistically, doesn't bode particularly well for them, but at least it's a point towards the standings, which they have so desperately been seeking here in the first week. And it didn't shy away in that final round. A confident play from Shont put his team in playmaking position. I think we'd rightly question his impact defensively on that Solus, but able to silence us, silence 6T. And an opportunity now to chill out before the game resumes.
Is this a deserved overtime? I think it very much is. Both teams have very much shown their mettle. They've been great. They've been able to be successful on both sides as well. Defense, offense. Panic able to overcome a very slight little deficit there momentarily, losing a couple of rounds in a row. We do have the replay here of Shont's double kill. Yeah, did not miss in that moment. Second one did send some bullets into the air, but it did also have to move that crosshair a little bit after getting the opening kill. And obviously, hey, high risk, high reward, and it pays dividends for Panic in what was a match point round.
Yeah, well controlled in the end there as well. No attempt there from Panic to, you know, overwork the late round there, which can sometimes be the case if a player elsewhere opens up proceedings, then the rest may get a little bit overconfident, overstep the mark, give the attack an opportunity back into the round. But certainly not the case there. Panic breathe a sigh of relief. Unfortunate that yesterday they were unable to produce this result and push that game against Man LFO to overtime. But this time they have been able to achieve that feat, rightly so. I think they've played pretty well overall. But this game has ebbed and flowed. 6 targets, though, the expectation should be that they win this game, ultimately. Defense OT.
You reckon? Yeah, I mean, I guess that's probably been the case, but I also think the way in which Panic win that last round, does that refill their confidence a little bit?
Potentially, yeah.
I mean, it is also Chalet, so you can very much get these attacking rounds. And a little halt in the momentum here due to the technical pause. Bedroom and Office, though, will be the opening site here on the defense for 6 targets, and this was the site in the first half as well, where they looked very clinical. This was what kind of set them up in that opening half, twice winning it out very comfortably. Go back all the way to that very opening round, and it was kind of question marks a little bit for Panic in the way they attacked this site. That was probably the end of the question marks, because then they responded really well with then 3 attacking rounds themselves. So this is the big task. If they win this particular round, then I give them such a good chance. But you lose this, and yeah, I mean, 6 targets will have 2 opportunities.
Hopefully this pause doesn't go on for too much longer, as it does put a little bit on the a dampener on the momentum that Panic have been able to reclaim in that previous round. That confidence discussion is an intriguing one. I would like to think that 6 targets' confidence is difficult to shake and their mentality difficult to tilt. With a lot of experience, a lot of hardship as well for some of these players. They've been there and done it many times over. And headed by the ever-elusive Specker, I would assume that their mental is almost impossible to break.
I don't think 6 targets' mental needs to be questioned here.
No.
And honestly, I think this is probably not a mental game at this point, because even Panic, for that matter, you know, when you lose a couple of rounds in a row, they were able to stand strong. They even still went for critical plays, as we saw from Shont. So the fact they were able to now at least send this to overtime. One thing that we haven't kind of touched on, but obviously no 3 points available for either of the two teams, being with the system that to get all 3 points, you must win in regulation. The maximum amount of points now is 2. The good news, though, is that both of them have now actually got a point for the stage after both of them having lost yesterday. So they at least walk away with something.
What do we walk away with, though?
A great game. It's been a really good game to watch. I mean, I think both teams have clearly shown, are they around the same skill level? I think yes, and probably for 2 different reasons. You know, you got the experience of 6Targets, the new age fragging capabilities of Panic. Great team coordination that we've seen from them as well. I still think back to that sort of main lobby pinch, where essentially 3 people are looking at the same position, which highlights to me at least really good team coordination. Everyone is in sync, very good synergy. Unfortunately, this delay has extended a little bit. To apologize for the inconvenience heading into overtime. It has probably taken a sting out of the game. But this is where, as professional players, they must obviously keep their focus really locked in. Big couple of rounds coming up for both teams, looking to find their first win of the stage. Obviously, the experience shining through for 6Targets. And maybe putting that question to bed in terms of, is it karma or bust? Because obviously, Shant's incredible play was a big standout factor as to why Panic have made it to overtime.
W Yap from you, Jakey. Mate, Jakey Wakey.
I have been told that he should be joining the server momentarily. We can get back underway heading into overtime.
Hell yeah.
And yeah, Kaken back in. Perfectly timed. And we are ready to go. 6Targets on the defense to begin first. Again, as I mentioned before, this is very much a site where they have been very effective. Opening up those extensions and sightlines in towards library, long angles. I imagine they will just play it pretty much the same carbon copy. No reason to change what has worked so thoroughly back in regulation in the opening half. Maybe a slight twist here or there, just to maybe keep Panic on their toes.
A twist in the tail, perhaps,
Yeah,
Jake? Is that what you may be alluding to?
Well, there is a twist, and Real is now on the Montang, something we didn't really see from Panic on their own attack. Will this help the facilitation heading into library, or depending on where he wants to make entry? It could deal with those sightlines a little bit more better for Panic. We'll see if that does pay dividends.
A little more better.
A little bit more better, yeah. Missed a
Better
couple of
little more.
words or said a couple extra.
Did you use up all your yapping power in the rehearse?
I've also seen this flyover as well, so we're all just kind of repeating at this point.
It's a nice one, though.
It is a nice one.
We didn't get burnt by the fire that time.
I did not, no. Chalet's a great map. And so far it has been great to watch for these two teams. I think the hope is that they can continue on to have a good stage, present this wonderful siege moving forward. Only one winner, though. Only one can walk away with the 2 points. It's River beating down that castle barricade to make an opening into bedroom.
Ooh, okay, so triple stack bathroom. They're going to just send it in.
Go fast. Karma up close. Realers did take a big chunk of damage. Karma eventually got the opening kill onto Bailey, though. Realers is just basically hanging on by the skin of his teeth, and Owen can just go straight for the plant. Realers making sure no push-up trophy stairs. Karma got a good kill on Tex. That plan is successful.
Wow.
6Targets are completely caught off guard.
Oh!
Now, that was a very low health Montang. They've also retaken the stairs position over towards trophy side on the 3-on-3. I imagine balcony will come into play in this round.
Oh!
Sean, what a swing from Kaken, though. He had the angle. Held Owen. He falls 2 before at least getting 1. Now down to the 1 in River on the rappel. Oh, and just as he moved away, the timing, the cross was made.
Oh!
And then taken out by the explosive Nitrocell of Kaken. From an explosive entry from Panic to an explosive conclusion by 6Targets. That was a rapid round to kickstart overtime. We were spending far more time waiting on the player in Kaken to actually enter the server than we actually spent inside of that round.
Phenomenal analysis. But no, it was an explosive start. The ram through the barricade to facilitate quick entry. Pick to follow. I then like the routing of the Monty to try and ward off the retake. But unfortunately, that Monty was taken down. The 2 versus 1. Reliance then on the double window rappel, and it's very difficult to hold that position in the face of the Nitro Cell. and perhaps still time remaining for a run out to have been executed if need be as well. Good work from 6Targets. And I don't want to be that guy, but I told you, throughout this game, Kaken, when put on a heater, when put in a position to make a round-defining play, he steps up. And now on 13 kills to 9 deaths, that point has very much been proven.
Yeah, and I agree. I think also the kills that he's gotten have been very impactful. You know, it's very easy to go and get, you know, say 13 kills here or there, but how much impact really is in those kills? Like, for example, Karma's 14 to 10, but I think Kaken's actually been far more impactful overall than Karma, for example. Not to say Karma hasn't been impactful, he's been great, especially he's been making good entries on the attack. That was a different kind of round, though. At least from Panic, it was certainly fun to watch, and for the most part, it was actually pretty successful. The issue was that Realist had lost so much health on that Montagne, so his stairs hold over towards Trophy was always going to be quite volatile, and obviously, as soon as the double push comes through, he's just going to lose his life, he gets overwhelmed. With that, then becomes the retake potential for 6Targets from Solar side. So great to see from Panic, even better from 6Targets on the retake, and now have got themselves overtime match point. Back on the attack.
So it's a double lurk down below then for the attack. Bailey Tex. Tex falls off and Bailey to Vert. Reelers may feel a little bit of pressure from down below, and they may look to cook something up through West Main. Bailey to drone though, and the rest of the team to move forward. Castle in play for said roam up above. So a decent chunk of utility that will need to be dealt with here by 6Targets. The approach far more reserved compared to what we saw in the previous round. The Hive Launcher in play, it's Kaken on the Grim. Information exchanged on the Solar Repel. Who will be the first attacker to make their move and try to get into the map, at least close by the objective? Window held. Defense forced back. The peek to come in response.
Oh, you don't need to peek this.
That was risky, but Karma does survive.
I mean, he doesn't overcommit there. Little jiggle peek, that's fine. Bit of information, a couple of shots back. He can kind of confirm 2 players outside air on the balcony side. Tex still hasn't moved. Another opportunity on the peak here from Karma. He's very much trying to find this kill. Gets up close, has an opportunity, can't land the bullets. A little bit there, finally gets the down onto Tex. Not too sure if he's aware of it though, of course. Difficult angles to see. You can't really overcommit in this position. Repel in. Noise made here from Nico. Final logic bomb was used. Under a minute remaining. Forward-facing pressure from Panic. And now the swing to come through from Karma. He catches them both! After the initial down, he follows up on his good work. And despite this entry into Solar from Kaken, Panic have been able to win the battle on the balcony. 5 on 2, and this one is heading all the way.
Well, we may have questioned the overall impact of Karma in this match so far, but there is no denying that he was a key player in that previous round. He keeps Tex at bay. He swings for more information, repositions then once again later to find the kills needed. And we are going to the 15th and final round.
Bailey, no draws. Oh, man. So, 15th round, final round. 6Targets on the defense. Kitchen and dining. Back to OCN. Man, talking about winding back the clock. Remember when we used to have best of 2s?
Remember when you weren't in your 30s?
Yeah, true. Good old days. Well, Panic again, sort of highlighting that this is a team that very much, you know, has good resilience, has that good mental fortitude, despite these circumstances where it kind of looks like 6Targets have been able to sort of retake a good position in this match. But I hark back to that reliance on Karma, who is the player that in that round 4 Panic was at the forefront of their aggression, fighting those battles towards the balcony. It was Karma. Swinging and moving around from bathroom, through piano, through library hallway. He was the one that was kind of making things happen. He loses his life, and suddenly there also becomes a bit of an entry point for 6Targets. So big emphasis on him to do well in that round, and he did. Really difficult to sort of define who I think has the advantage going into this round. You could argue defense has been, again, prevalent, and so therefore you default to 6Targets. The Panic are very much capable of just about anything, as we saw in the opening round of overtime to begin. And Kaken, player that you said has been standing up to the occasion, loses his life early to Owen. The hard breacher gets himself his 10th kill of this game. Owen's been good. And suddenly now Panic with a pretty significant advantage from here on out. They can slow things down, still 2.5 minutes, and an interesting angle here from Nico.
Classic Nico. Well, impact goes both ways, both positive and negative. And for Kaken, when 6Targets really need him for the 15th round, he is the first to fall. It was an aggressive jump out, but a really good response from Panic. They punish that. They have the advantage to play into, and they have the utility to deal with this extension. Impact EMP, followed up by the Salmas on the ace. And as we often see on this objective, the goal will be for Panic to push this defense back, force them to peel into the cross on this bathroom window, ultimately get vert control, and then prevent the defense from retaking.
3 Nitrocells available for 6Targets. Something to keep in mind for the remainder of this round, as the F not mind a nuisance for Karma. Shot out, dealt with. 90 seconds left, slipping towards Piano.
Actually got deactivated.
He did also shoot it.
He didn't shoot it out though.
Did he not?
No.
Oh.
It just got turned off.
Did he just miss the shot?
Oh, it got turned off, so it's bulletproof.
Oh, right. I thought he hit the timing on it.
Nah, he didn't.
So confused. Nitrocell in hand from Tex. Not sure if he did throw that pre-placed or not. Specker with the kill on to Karma. And there indeed is that Nitrocell that was thrown by Tex. Real is falling. 60 seconds remaining. Shot now, the push through Solar. Owen watching maybe for a library stairs flank. Still 5 canisters available on that hive launcher as well from River. So none have been used.
45 seconds. There's another impact EMP on the wall. Bailey has a mirror window in hand, though, to trick it. But that baits him into the vert. Shot holding up above. 30 seconds to go, and it's a 3 versus 3 to see who walks away with 2 points.
Yeah, and no more Nitrocells either available on the defense for 6Targets. Not a lot of time remaining. Hive Launcher can still be utilized as well from River, and now he sends them out again. That vert hold, though, from Sean through that hatch. It's perfect. Specker also falls from the same angle. Down to Tex in a 1-on-3. Needs to find a way to deny the plant. Nico now coming down. Sorry, it's actually a 2-on-3. Forgot about Nico, but River does not. They were ready for that flank, and Tex now very much down to that 1-on-3, but it's a post-plant retake scenario. Down the other end of the hallway, and watching Sean finishes off his good work, and look how pumped Owen is. For Karma, it's all about the cat, though. Big, big win for Panic Esports, and question marks and some thinking to do for 6Targets.
A game of resilience there. Panic Esports rewarded with a really good performance in that match overall, but also overtime specifically as well, bucking the defensive-sided nature of the game at the moment. So good work from them. 6Targets, as mentioned, though, an opportunity now for them to reflect. They have time to improve, but they need to identify what's going wrong.
Yeah, really solid game, I got to say firsthand. I thought that both teams had some really good moments in that match. 6Targets, probably not going to be too happy with the fact that they did lose out, but the circumstances aren't really all that bad. I think that they are a team that can continue to improve as the stage progresses, as they kind of get a bit more of a feeling back. Obviously for Panic, though, great win under the organization. They don't get the 3 points, but 2's really not all that bad. That does wrap things up, though, for us today. Don't fret, we've still got the desk to break it all down.
Thank you very much for that, gentlemen. And look, I think a fantastic way to close out the night. A close match, you know, some turmoil, some individuals stepping up. Dev, ultimately, Panic just too good.
Yeah, I just have a question. Do we eventually go to predictions, like as a graphic, or no?
No, unfortunately not, because you've gone...
In that case,
no, we don't ever
I might as well say, I told you so.
I think we do go to predictions, but I just hate you. So.
Well, I told you so.
Wow.
I picked Panic.
Well done.
And how many did you get right tonight,
I
Andy?
don't think I got any of them right. Oh no, I got Team Bliss right. That's it.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
Team
everyone
Bliss,
gets Team
Team
Bliss right.
Bliss, Team Bliss.
That was a great game. I obviously in the second half it looked like Panic was going to do it, but then a great comeback from 6T. Panic, as Guz put it, actually managed to pull it over the line on attack when it was a defender-sided game. So credit to him.
Well, what's beautiful is we actually get to hear from the team themselves. Owen joins us for an interview. His first league performance really this week, Owen. This is the first time we've seen you on a Tier 1 broadcast. How have the nerves been holding up so far?
Absolutely terrible. I don't think I've played this badly in a while.
Is it the pressure of being in the OCE League? How do you think that's affected you?
It's like the nerves there. It's like way back when I first qualified for CL and like I was getting jitters in the game and playing just way worse than compared to scrims. Yeah.
So obviously you've just gone up against, some of the most experienced players in OCE, regardless of how long they've been playing for.
Yeah.
They haven't been back for a while.
Yeah.
But do you notice a distinct difference in the server?
Oh yeah, like on that defense half, we thought we had it in the bag, but like after we got, was it 2 or 3 defenses, they just picked apart everything, and I was just overwhelmed. Like when it was 6-5 their way, like what the hell just happened? I thought what happened? Yeah.
It catches up. Dev?
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
So obviously yesterday you had a bit of a rough game. Man, LFO, obviously a very strong team, but you still got 5 rounds against them. You managed to get a really narrow win today over the 6T guys, and then next week your next game is against Odium, who are proving to be very strong after a 7-0 today over CS. How'd you feel about your game went yesterday? How'd you feel about your game went today? And how you feel about your game next week?
Yesterday, I honestly wasn't too upset. Like we showed that we can compete with like a top 4 team, and we can probably make a run for the playoffs. And next week against Odium, they've been slamming it. But in quals, I reckon we had a couple of pretty close maps against them. So if we get it on a map that we prefer, I reckon we can definitely take it OT or even just win it straight out.
Oh yeah.
Awesome. I wanted to ask about the team dynamic. We don't know the players all too well. Who's the person calling the shots, making the strats? What's going on behind the scenes would be good to know.
So Shant's like the God Emperor. He he just does, yeah. And Realers, he's like his little princess. He does the IGLing, keeps us in check. We laugh at him. He makes the strats. We laugh at him again.
Yeah.
I write when I don't get to play post shotgun, and yeah, that's just how it goes.
Oh, Owen, I love the confidence coming into this, mate. I don't think this is probably one of the more unique first interviews we've had. Sometimes people, they stutter a bit, they can't get it out, but you got a very clear vision in mind. What's your vision for stage 1?
Stage 1, honestly, just making playoffs.
Yeah.
And top 4 would be a dream, but like
Jeez.
I'd be happy with top 6. Just
Look,
happy to be here, man.
I mean, look, to be honest, we've all individually watched a lot of Siege over the last couple of years, especially in OCE, and I've got to say, for a team that's coming into the coming into the league, the new kids on the block, you've done pretty damn well. So I think you should all take your hats off and be proud of what you've done, especially, given the short amount of time you've had to turn things around since the since the quals. It's all credit to you. Would you like to say anything before we let you go?
No, thanks, guys.
Oh, God, short and sweet. Owen, I love it, mate. We hope to see you back next week.
Catches.
Well, that's